Good morning, friends. This is Chris from Chris and Cami Photography, and today we are going to the Center for Birds of Prey to photograph raptors and owls and hawks and eagles and all kinds of amazing birds of prey. I look forward to it, and I can't wait to bring you guys along and show you the amazing place this is. We'll see you soon.
Well, it's a little foggy and misty this morning, but I'm still excited, and I think that this is going to burn off later this morning when the shooting starts. In fact, I actually prefer overcast anyway because it gives you a little more saturation, a little less contrast, and allows the cameras to pick up a little more detail in the feathers. 4 or 5 times a year, the Center for Birds of Prey, which is just north of Charleston in Awendaw, holds what they call Photography Day. It's pretty exclusive and it always fills up fast. It sells out within a matter of days pretty much when they post a new date. And the reason for that is because it allows photographers to get these amazing up close and personal encounters with wildlife that literally would take you years of wandering around in the wilderness to try and get.
Alright guys, we made it. This is the Center for Birds of Prey. Over there are all kinds of huge spacious enclosures where the birds can live and be fed and have a wonderful life. And I am going to go show you the camera equipment I'm going to be using today. Alright, so my equipment has changed quite a bit when it comes to photographing wildlife. Used to be in the years gone by, I had the 70-200 on one body and the 200-400 on the other, and that 200-400 f4 VR is such a massive lens. Today you're going to see some really cool new equipment. I'm going to be wearing my speed belt. This is one of my 2 think tank speed belts, and I've also got my drone with me today. I don't know if they're going to let me fly, but I'm going to try and get some aerial shots so you can see what the setup looks like. And that all was packed in this pannier over here. Now in the other pannier, down in here, I've got my City Walker 30. This is the Think Tank City Walker 30, and it fits absolutely 100% perfect in this pannier. I love it. So I can actually, if I wanted to, I could lift this whole thing out and take it with me. But for today, I'm just going to leave everything in there and grab the cameras that I need. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the 70-200. So this is the Nikkor 70-200 f2.8 VR2, and I'm going to have that on my D850. That is such a high-resolution camera that if I need to, I can enter it into crop mode, which will bring it from 47 megapixels down to, I don't know, maybe 16 or something like that, and that will essentially turn this lens into a 105-300 f2.8. So I'm going to have that on one hip, and then on the other I'm going to have my, see if you can see it in here, I'm going to have my trusty D500. Now I left the D5 at home because I purposefully wanted a crop sensor camera to go with this little bad boy. And this is the 300mm f4 VR. Can you believe that? That is a 300mm lens. It's about the size and weight of a 24-70. But it uses this amazing new PF technology, or what they call phase Fresnel technology. Phase Fresnel. Anyway, it allows the lenses to be scientifically engineered to be super compact. So this is a 300mm f4.0. I'm going to put it on a DX cropped D500 camera, which will essentially multiply this lens by 1.5 times, and that makes it a 450mm lens. So I've got everything covered from 70mm to 450mm with just these 2 cameras and these 2 fairly light lenses. I don't need my tripod. I don't need my big gimbal head. I can just handhold all of these things and feel free to shoot whatever I want. It's awesome. All right, let's get on over there. As you can see, people have assembled. I'm one of the last ones to arrive, so I'm going to grab the rest of my gear and head on over and let's shoot some birds.
the photography day for the Center for Birds of Prey is one way that they raise funds to help support their efforts in rehabilitating these wildlife, most of whom are there because of injuries that are caused by humans. I'm sure you've heard the story of the canary in the coal mine. You know, canaries were sent down in little cages into a coal mine, and if they came back up perfectly healthy and chirping and singing, then everything was safe for the humans to go down. But if the canary went down and it died because of toxic fumes, then the humans knew that it was not safe to send down a miner. In the same way, birds are an indicator species for the planet in general. When birds are dying at the edge of a lake or near a power plant or near a recycling plant, it's an indicator that there's something wrong with the environment. Species like albatross are eating fish which have nibbled on little micro pieces of plastic, and the fish provide sustenance for that albatross, but the plastic stays in the stomach. It doesn't break down, and they can't get rid of it, and it doesn't come out in their poop. Wait a minute, did I just say poop? They can't survive, and they can't get enough calories when they only have half a stomach worth of space. So they literally starve to death. And the death of these amazing albatross out on Midway Atoll near Hawaii is proof to the scientists and the people of the planet that we really have a serious problem. And I thought I'd quickly go over some of my settings and what I was shooting. Everybody always asks me, well, what were your settings and things like that. It was fairly overcast skies, relatively dim exposure values. So most of the action and moving birds I was photographing at ISO 1600. At ISO 1600, both the D850 and the D500 still yield beautiful results without getting too grainy. And it allowed me to have shutter speeds up around 1,000th of a second or more. The majority of what I was photographing, I was using f5.6. f5.6 gives me a little more depth of field than shooting wide open at 2.8 or 4.0. And allows a little more to stay in focus, like if I want to get the eye in focus, it maybe gives a little bit of the beak in focus, yet at the same time gives me a soft enough background that I get that pleasing sky or out of focus greenery in the background to make the subject pop. So that's kind of the sweet spot for me. If I'm doing close-ups, you know, headshots of just the birds really tight, I'll usually go down to f8 just to give myself a little extra depth of field. And that usually works out fine because I can compensate by using a slightly slower shutter speed, maybe 1/500th of a second, and still be able to hold that 300mm phase Fresnel lens without getting any camera shake. All right, that was amazing. I tell you, as many times as I go to the Center for Birds of Prey, photographing those amazing creatures never gets old. I am heading home. I had lunch with Fred and Ferris after the event this morning. It was nice to catch up with them, get their opinions on the experience. And I'll leave you with some beautiful drone scenery, and we'll catch you next time.